decide how the name has to be identified. There is a format, right? Naming of a server. So it uses a 4-byte internet IP address. So in a computer networks, you have seen the networks on the subnet, how the naming is going to happen, right? So yeah, the naming will be taken care with respect to the IP address. So depending upon the IP address, so what happens? We are able to determine the location of the server or location of the client. And the next thing is we need to design and implement the dispatcher. So how do we define and implement the dispatcher? So we need to determine what are the protocols are there. So how the dispatcher has to connect, has to identify the location transparency of a server. So whether that particular server is being able to provide a service or not. So that has to be taken care with the underlying low level operation, that what we call it as a protocol. So through the protocol or through the TCP ports or through the sockets, we will be able to have a establishment of a connection and how the communication is going to happen. So next thing is we need to define the detailed structure of the request. So what type of request that a client is requesting. So how the responses has to be sent. So it has to provide a error messages. So when the error messages can be sent to the client. So if the server is not able to provide a service, uh, if it is not able to provide the service, or if it is not able to connect, so in that case an error message should be taken care to handle the system. And the next sixth step is we need to implement the client and server components according to the desired solution. That means we need to know what is a client part, what the client will do, so what the server will do. So depending upon a strategies and depending upon a performance of the system, so that has to be taken care. So that is how we are trying to identify the client dispatcher system. And the next thing is we have a variants. So variants is nothing but a different types of client dispatcher versions. So what are the different versions? You can say versions. Okay. So one, we can have a distributed dispatches. So when you say a distributed dispatches, so what happens? We have a two types of network, right? One is a centralized network, one is a distributed system. So when you say a distributed dispatcher, so each and every dispatcher can be available locally and it will be distributed among the different locations. So that particular, if any one of the dispatcher is not able to provide a service, it has to route to the other dispatcher and it has to identify the connectivity between a client and a server. Next, what we have a client dispatcher server with communication managed by clients. So the other variant that we can have is a how do we identify the clients? So in what way the clients can manage the connection? So that is a client oriented. The client can identify itself and the client can manage itself when to establish a connection and when to get the services. So depending upon the physical location of the server, the client is requesting for a service. And the next variant is client dispatcher server with heterogeneous communication. So when you say a heterogeneous communication, there are different types of networks. So for different types of network, so different servers will be there, different types of clients will be there. So how the client can establish a communication channel and how the servers can be provided, how the clients can be provided the service, that has to be specified. And the next thing is client dispatcher service. So when you say a client dispatcher service, so here what happens? Client addresses address services and not the servers. It will identify only the client address. So if your located in Mysore. So what happens if you are a client, you are requesting for some particular web page. So what happens? It will identify where you have located. Say for example, you can see in your mobile when you open a Google, so it will show you the location from where you are, from where you are trying to have an access. So that is a location transparency. It will identify in which part that the client is residing, from where the service request is being generated. So here is a sample Java code for client dispatcher. So we have a dispatcher class. So in a dispatcher class, it will create a hash table. So a hash table called has a registry. So what happens? It will generate a random access. Random numbers will be generated. So once the random number is being generated, so what happens? It will invoke the registry. In a registry, what type of, what we are using? We are using the two arguments. One is a string, which we say that a service. One can be a service object. So all the registry services will be taken in terms of a vector. So vector is nothing but it will be similar to the matrix, but not a matrix. Here we have a list of different servers or different dispatchers that has been located. So if the vector is null, then what happens? It has to generate a new vector, and it has to put all the it has to create a new vector, and it has to put all the services into that particular vector. So through the vector, what you are trying to do, you are trying to add the services. So all the services will be identified through the object. So next thing is service locate. So it has to identify the location of, it has to locate the services from where the location has, from which place the location has to be provided. So you need to create a vector. So that vector of services will be generated. It will throw an exception if vector is not found. Then it will identify the size of the vector. If it is no, if it is equal to 0, then it will throw the exception that no vectors or no services are provided. Then what it will do, it will take one, it will create a variable I, and it will generate whatever the random number 1 to 6 is being taken. So it will generate the next random number, and it will identify the remainder. So divided by the size, to identify the remainder, we are using a modulation with the vector size. So when you divide this random number with the size of the vector, it will generate a unique number. So through this unique number, we are trying to identify what type of services can be provided. So we need to create an abstract class, abstract services. So to create abstract services, there are two types of services. One is the name of a service, one is the name of a server. So what type of services are there? We are initializing the services, and we are calling that service. So that is how we are trying to implement with respect to the Java code. So next, what we can implement, we can implement the client dispatcher. Say for example, if you want to have a print service, so you are using a print service which extends the service class, where service is an interface. So here what you are passing what type of service, you are passing the number of arguments. After passing the number of arguments, so what it will do, it will get the name of the service, and that service has to be provided. So for that, what we need to do, so before that we need to create a client class. So in a client class, we have a do task as a method, so where we are using the exception handling. So it will identify the client dispatcher system, and it has to locate the print service. Then it will call for the services. So it is written in a try block. If this service, print service is not available, then it has to throw the exception. So similarly, there are various exceptions that has been written here. Next, what we have a public class CDS. So in a client dispatcher system, what we have, we need to create a dispatcher. So where two services are provided. So we are trying to call the client.do task. So whatever the task that is being written with respect to the client, this operations will be invoked by using a client dispatcher system. So that's how we are trying to create a client dispatcher system. Okay, so next where we can use this client dispatcher. So one we can use it as a remote procedure calls, and one more Corba we can use the client dispatcher system. And the benefits and liabilities of this system are, so the first thing is we can have a exchangeability of the server. If any server is not working, then you can easily replace that particular server. And location and migration transparency. So whenever you are trying to replace a particular server, or whenever a new server is being added, so that location can be easily added to the dispatcher, and that location can be easily identified. Next thing is reconfiguration. So we can identify the network services, and the dispatcher can be easily identified. Next one is a fault tolerance. So for the fault tolerance, we need to identify when the server can go failure. If there is a failure in a network, so how that server can be replaced. So how robust you can make the services. So these are the things of benefits of the client dispatcher server. The liabilities or a disadvantage of client dispatcher system is low efficiency through indirection and explicit connection. That means, so first it has to identify the location of the server, it has to call for the connection. So that is a tedious job every time when a client is sending a request. Okay, so that leads to the lower efficiency of the system. And the next thing is sensitivity to change in the interface of the dispatcher components. So if you are trying to make any changes with respect to the system, then what happens? So the interface may through that interface the complete role can be changed. So that is the main drawback of a client dispatcher system. Any doubts? Okay, so the last pattern that we have is a publisher subscriber pattern. And listen, one more thing, whenever you are writing, whenever they are going to ask a theoretical part question, you cannot write your lab part has a answers for the questions. Okay, so lab is different and theoretical part is different. That's the reason yesterday I have sent you the PDF of this second textbook. Is it clear? So if they are asking the implementation, you cannot write the Java code what you have written in a lab program, that cannot be written. So you need to explain the implementation of client server or client publisher subscriber or any pattern. So you need to write the guidelines, whatever the 6 or 10 steps are there for each and every pattern. So that steps you need to specify under that particular step, how you are trying to design that you need to specify. So you cannot write the entire Java code. Is it clear? Publisher subscriber pattern. So when you say a publisher subscriber pattern, so there will be an observer. So the observer will be notifying, the observer will be observing if there are any changes are there. So it will notify to the other dependents. So the publisher subscriber has a alias name, so which we call it as a observer or a dependent pattern. Okay. So the problem that we are trying to define for a publisher subscriber is, so it should have a following forces. One or more components should be notified about the changes. So the number of dependent components has to be identified, and whenever there is a change, that has to be notified. And next thing is explicit calling by dependents for the new information should not be feasible. It has to apply the change propagation mechanism. That means if any one of the components are going to have a change with respect to the external environment. So that change has to be notified to the all the other dependent components, and that changes has to be adopted immediately by those components. So how do we bring the solution? So the solution can be brought by using the some of the steps. So first we need to design an abstract class. So through the abstract class, we need to identify the publishers or subscribers. So once the publisher and subscriber are being identified, then we need to identify it has to have the publisher should have an internal state. So when the notification are going to arise. So if there are any notification, it has to notify to the other method by using the method called as a notify, and we need to have create a subscribers. So these subscribers will be generated for many publishers. So whatever the publisher is observing, so that uh, notification has to be brought to all the different subscribers. Okay, so next we have a variants of this publisher subscriber. So one is a gatekeeper. So for the gatekeeper, what we are using a distributed system. So whatever the events that are going to happen, so that events will be handled by the gatekeeper. So then next is the event channel variant. So this event channel variant was proposed by the object management group. So here what happens? So whatever the publisher or a subscriber wish to be notified, so all the notifications will be brought into the change by using the subscription. Okay, so here is the object modeling diagram. So we have a publisher. So through the publisher, it will create a proxy publisher, okay, and a proxy subscriber. And we have an event channel. So if there are any events that are going to happen, so it will notify. It has to send the notification to the other subscribers. So similarly, if there are in the receiving end, we have again a proxy publisher, proxy subscriber. So it has to go with respect to the proxy publisher. It will go. It will identify the subscriber, and to the other subscriber, other dependent components, it will be notified. So that is how the system is going to work. So that is all about your patterns. Do you have any doubts? Apurva, Madhu?
No, ma'am.
No. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Or tomorrow I'm going to take a revision class. Hope you know that 11th is our internal, right? OMD. Only the
Yes, ma'am.
internal. Module 4 and Module 5. That's the reason I have sent this book. Okay. And I have specified what are the things that you need to read from the syllabus. If you have any doubts, you can ask me so that I can clear your doubts. Surya? Surya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
I thought you have logged in and you are sleeping. Not so, right?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you having any doubt, Pa?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then. 1 second. So, by today afternoon, I'm going to send all the module-wise question bank, okay? From first module to the fifth module-wise from the previous question paper, I'm trying to identify which are the important questions that has been repeated that I will frame it and I am going to send you so that it may be helpful for you. Is it fine? Is P code?
Yes, ma'am.
Amit, why you
Yes,
joined
ma'am.
late? Amit,
Uh, Network problem, ma'am. I joined 2 times, ma'am. 2, 3 times.
Yesterday also you joined and left, right?
Because nobody is there yesterday.
You want after you Harini came. Okay, then I'm ending the meeting. Tomorrow I'm going to conduct a revision. Okay, I will send the invitation later. Okay, you can join that.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then. I'm going to end the call. You can attend for the rest of the class.
Hmm.